Hello and welcome back! Welcome back to another video by myself and welcome back to the channel. How many new faces are out there? It's crazy. I'm so happy that you have found this channel, guys and girls and people of the world, and I hope you will enjoy the content and everything else that spaceforedit is about. And if you really want to connect with me, it's best to do on Instagram, so make sure you follow me there. Head on to Instagram, spaceforedit, drop me a message, let's have a chat. I'd love to hear from you and we can chat all things design and beyond. So today we are continuing with the Junior Designers Survival Kit series, episode number 2, and we are going to be chatting about all things around interview. What to do, what to say, how to prepare, how to act, what not to do. So get your pens and papers ready because this is going to be a good one. So if you watched the last video, then hopefully you know how to prepare yourself for all of this, how to find a job, what to do, where to reach out to, what to send, and you've also seen the what to put in your portfolio video, which all of them I'm going to link up in the card, so make sure you go and check them out. So the next step is, ideally, you have finally got the call, you have got an interview arranged, so what now? What on earth are you supposed to do now? Well, fear not, my friend, because I am here to help, and I will give you I'll give you 4 tips today in order to smash that job interview, to do the best you can do, get the job in the bag, get the paycheck, and live the life of your dreams. Okay, maybe not that dramatic, but you get the message. Okay, let's get into it with tip number 1, how to prepare yourself for the interview. Okay, so at this point you have probably Googled every tip and trick that Google can give you regarding interviews. You feel like, okay, yes, I'm pumped, I'm ready, I know what to do. So you literally sat there with your heart beating very fast and you're so nervous and you're so excited and you don't know what to do. You want to cry, you want to die, you want to leave, you want to stay. Well, don't. Just for a good hot minute, relax. Take a deep breath in and chill the fudge out. Again, what you need to realize is that any employer, any person that will interview you is the same kind of person that you are. You know, we are all the same. Like, some people might have a better sense of humor, some people might like your style, some people might hate it. Some people might have graduated the same university or maybe come from the same town or city that you lived in, so you will maybe have a connection through that. And some people might have just had a really bad day, a really bad morning, they've had a fight the day before with their spouse or with a family member and they are just not feeling great, so it feels like they are just not giving you the energy that you want to receive. So you see where I'm coming from. Everyone has got their own backstory. You know, we all come with our own struggles and with our own happy moments and with our own attitude to life. So don't by any means just blame yourself in the way that this interview is going to go. Just remember that whatever will happen is meant to be and you can only do your best. So all you can do in this situation is just be yourself. And by saying be yourself, I mean that, like, honestly talk the way you talk, behave the way you behave. Don't feel like you have to put on this kind of a different persona. We spend our lives working most of the time, and if you put on this kind of a different persona, you will have to live with that persona for the rest of the time that you'll be in the company. Otherwise, if you suddenly start to act differently, then the employer will be like, well, we didn't hire you for this, we hired you for that person that was sitting in the interview. So it is going to be hard to play that character every single day. So be yourself, show up the way you are, quirky or not, shy or not, loud, whatever. Just be yourself, and obviously be respectful. That's another thing that you should do. So tip number 2, which kind of ties in with tip number 1, is show up as your true self. I might be repeating myself, or it might seem a bit too obvious or self-explanatory, but really the first impressions, in-person impressions, count. And by in-person impression, I mean that usually the employer, if they are really interested in you, in your profile, they would have stalked you a little bit on your social media, on your LinkedIn profile. So they've kind of already met you, and they kind of know what to expect, or maybe the questions to ask. So this first in-person impression is very important, just in case that if they have read you the wrong way from your social media profiles. Apart from showing up as your true self is also what you will be wearing. It's kind of a tricky one, because I think as designers, we are creatives, and we should kind of be able to explore that creativity in many various ways. So not just through our work, but through our wardrobe, and why not? So it really depends what kind of a company you are joining, but most companies at the moment are kind of slowly transferring into the smart casual look, just so that it's nice and comfortable, but at the same time it's nice and presentable in case a client comes in or you are asked to go out to a site meeting. Personally, I love to put on some more vibrant colors and be a bit more expressive, and maybe a bit over the line sometimes. Well, okay, not too crazy. I'm not that adventurous. But compared to the usual office attire, my style is kind of slightly out of the framework of what we should dress like. So when I go to an interview or a client meeting or seeing a new client, you know, this doesn't have to be an interview only. I love to show it. I love to show my personality in different kind of ways, and I love to just put on something a bit brighter. Maybe I tone it down a little bit so it's not just bam in your face, you know, a bit too much. So dress the way you think best represents your style. That's probably the best advice I could give you regarding what you should wear. So yeah, dress appropriately, make sure it shows your style and shows your personality, and at the end of the day it should be about your skills and it should be about your experience, not because what kind of brands you're wearing or how up to date your style is. Remember that this interview is all about your skill set, all about your experience and your talent, everything that you could give to the company. Tip number 3, be chatty, be bubbly, but don't take over the conversation. By this I mean that what you need to remember, that this interview, the purpose of a job interview is for the employer to sort of get an introduction, get a feel about what you are as a person, as a professional. So it is about you, but at the same time it is a two-way conversation. So sometimes when we are under the pressure, we tend to talk too fast. You know, words are just coming out of our mouth and it doesn't make sense and you don't know when to stop and take a breath. Or it's the opposite. You get a bit shy, you don't really know what to say, like the thoughts have just left your brain, you don't know what language you're speaking anymore. So it's either that or the other. So just make sure that your speech is kind of a nice and natural and maybe a little bit calming. So anything that's being really hypened up in your brain cools down and you can really shine through this interview and show your true personality. Regarding the questions that you might want to ask in the interview, I think it's always good to ask what the company goals are for like the next 5-10 years. It shows that you are interested in the company and where it's going, and it shows that you want to be a part of it. You know that the employer can see that you are not in it just for the paycheck, but you are really looking for somewhere where you can grow as an individual, as a team player, and it just really adds value to your conversation. Because again, the interview is not just about the job opportunity itself, it's really about you as a person and how you could fit within the team and really just give them the best you can give. And it obviously just forms a nicer, relaxed atmosphere, and the job interview is not as stiff and frightening as you might imagine it to be. Okay, so the final tip number 4 is remember your why. I will most likely dive into this topic in another separate video because that's something I've only learned a few months ago, and I wish someone would have showed me this and told me and asked me this question a lot earlier down the line. But in kind of quick, simple terms, your why is the reason behind why you are doing anything in your life. Why you are getting up in the morning, why you are getting dressed, why you are going out and working for someone or working for yourself. Your why is the fuel behind everything that you do in life. And the reason why you need to remember this why when you are in this interview is because that again will fuel you, will give you the positive energy, will give you the drive, will remind you of the drive that you have behind all of this. Behind all of this stress, behind all of these emotions, behind all of this hard work that you've been put in, your why is really going to shine through. So it's very, very important to know what your why is. So before you go into that interview, remind yourself that why. What is that strong reason why you are there today? Why you've been nagging the company for so long and really just going after this job? Why? Because I'm telling you, once you know that answer and once it's kind of embedded in your brain, magic happens. Honestly, you just kind of really find your purpose, and your purpose really just drives everything that you do in life. So find your why, have a good little sit down with yourself today. Have a pen and paper in place and just start, you know, when little kids start asking questions and why is that, and you give them an answer and then they go, but why that, and then you give another answer and then they go again and again and again. It's like a domino effect. Every single question has got another question at the end of its answer. So what you really want to do is get to the end of the line of those whys and of all of those questions, and right there you will see the answer why you are doing everything that you're doing. But anyways, that's a bit too much information maybe for today, so we'll return back to it again another day. So that's really it, guys. 4 top tips on how to smash a job interview. Show up as your true self. Make sure you're chatty, but not too much. Make sure that the conversation's flowing. Make sure you prepare for the interview spiritually and practically. Do your research before the interview. And to top it off, number 4 was find your why and make sure your why is there with you on the day, fueling you through that interview. So I hope you enjoyed today's video and learned something new, and let me know if this was useful. Let me know if you went to a job interview and you smashed it and you used these tips, because that is really my why behind this channel. That is the reason why I do all of this. I'm just sharing my tips, my experience with all of you, and hopefully that will help you to find your dream job in design or whatever area in life you want to go with. So let me know down in the comments if this has helped you with an interview, and as always, any other questions that you have, just comment them below. I always reply to all of my messages. But again, if you want to connect with me, just head over to Instagram, spaceforedit. I'm there all day, every day, posting things, behind the scenes footage, you know, stuff that only designers understand sometimes. So yeah, if I don't see you there, then I'll see you in the next video. Bye!